right. Welcome. Go ahead and close your eyes. Bring your awareness into your breath. Let's start with a little meditation today. So I want you to imagine a pool of water at the bottom of your pelvis and also at the top of your head. And as you inhale, you're going to imagine pulling that water up the back of your body. So up through the spine, up to the top of the head. We're going to hold the breath. And then we're going to bring that down with the exhale. So bring the water down into the bottom pool with the exhale and then hold your breath. So I'll talk us through 3 rounds. And then I want you just to continue at your own breath pace. So we start at the bottom. Go ahead and inhale up the spine. Pausing at the top, holding the breath, and then exhaling down the center line, the front of the body, all the way to the base of the pelvis, and again, hold the breath. And then inhale up the back body. Pause, hold. Exhale down the front body. Pause and hold. Inhale up the back body. Pause, hold. And exhale down the front body. Pause, hold. So inhale up the back body and keep going at your own breath pace. Do one more full round. And then just let the breath release into its normal breath pattern. Letting the eyes flutter open. go ahead and grab 2 blocks or 2 block-like substances, just some height and something that that you can put your hands on. So a little bit of height for your hands. And we're going to just move through up dog and down dog back and forth a couple times, getting some more movement through the spine. But the nice thing about the blocks is that when we're in up dog, you'll be able to really use the weight of your legs to traction out your spine. You just want to make sure that you really keep the shoulders down and the neck long. So you're really pushing the shoulders down as you do this, and then kind of letting the whole lower body just hang. And that's going to traction out the low back, and the belly is going to feel really good in that. And then we'll move through that into downward facing dog. And the nice thing about having the blocks under your hands for that is that it kind of lifts up your front end, so you're able to put more weight and energy into the back of the legs. So you're able to lengthen out the low back a little bit more, but also get into the hamstrings, the calves, the Achilles, and the feet a little bit more. So playing with a little bit of height here and a little bit of movement. So set your blocks up shoulder width apart. And I like to have the heel of my hand right on the edge of the block. So that provides a little bit of support, and then kind of wrap my thumb and my pinky finger around the edges of the block. And then you can come up into your down dog. And you might find that it feels better to take the blocks a little bit wider, kind of finding your sweet spot. And spread your toes. Think about pressing through the little toe side of the foot, so you're really lengthening. You think about spreading the toes and rooting the little toe down, and then it's like the feet just stretch back from that little toe. Wiggle the hips a little bit so that it feels like you're kind of sending the pelvis away from the rib cage. And you got a little more space to drop the chest into. From here, you'll lift your heels up, roll through your spine forward. And I like to walk the hands just a little bit more forward so that the palms are all the way onto the block. And then you roll over the tops of your feet. Press the shoulders away from your ears. And again, we're just letting the hips hang. So the legs stay kind of active. You're trying to keep those knees up off the ground. And you're pushing the hips down and forward. And then really letting the belly soften. And we're turning this into a circle. So from here, we drop the knees down and set the hips back into child's pose with a little extra stretch through the shoulders with the hands on the blocks. From here, rolling through the spine onto all fours, tuck the toes, come up and back into that elevated down dog. Again, you spread the toes, plant the little toe into the mat, and then stretch the feet back from the little toe. So you really feel this on the outer edges of the calf muscle. Wiggle the hips. Think about lengthening the pelvis up and away from the rib cage. Sink the heart down towards the mat. Be a little wiggle of the rib cage. So you move into the shoulder blades a little bit more. And lifting the heels, lift the hips, roll forward, wiggle those hands forward as you come forward to plank over the tops of the feet. Pressing the hips down and forward, shoulders down. Just enjoying that traction. The traction action. And then dropping the knees down, sliding back into child's pose. Hands stay up on the blocks as you drop down. Pressing into your hands, rolling up onto all fours, placing the hands a little further back, tuck the toes, lift up and back, downward facing dog. Again, spread the toes, press into your little toe, lengthen the feet out of the little toe, really pressing back through the outer legs. Give the hips a little wiggle. Think about sliding the pelvis away from your belly button. Drop the chest a little closer towards the knees. Give the rib cage a little wiggle. And lift the heels, lift the hips, roll forward. Walk those hands a little further forward. Over the tops of the feet, setting the hips towards the blocks, shoulders away from the ears. Dropping the knees down. Take the knees a little bit wider for wide knee child's pose, dropping the head and the heart down. Pressing into the hands, rolling up onto all fours again. Tuck your toes, lift the knees, so we're in plank. Step your right foot forward, wiggle that left foot back a little bit more. And then take your blocks and bring them up on their ends. Got a little bit of height here. And I want you to straighten out that front leg. You're going to hug the right hip back and lengthen your chest forward. So you're kind of looking to be a tabletop through your spine. And then we're hugging the right side of the pelvis back and pushing the left side of the pelvis forward. So right hip pulls back, left hip moves forward, and then relax into that left heel. So just lazy left foot, but you're squeezing your upper inner thighs together. And we're flattening out the back, reaching the crown of the head away from the hips. The hips and the crown of the head kind of having a little tug of war. Rebending the right knee. Sinking into the hips a little bit here. So as the hips drop down, push your left thigh up. Chest opens, shoulders move together on the back of the body and down towards the hips. And then keep pushing that left thigh up as if you were trying to be a nice park bench for someone to sit on. And pressing into the right foot, take the hips up and back, flatten out the spine again. Send the hips back, the head forward. So we find the tug of war from the top of the spine to the bottom of the spine. Right hip pulls back, left hip moves forward. Relax into your back heel. And shoulders are still pulling together and down the back. Rebending the right knee, coming forward, sinking down into your hips, but keeping that left leg nice and strong. Chest opens up, shoulders draw together even more in the back of the body. And then straightening out the right leg again. Lengthening the hips back, the crown of the head forward. The top and bottom of the spine move away from each other. Right hip back, left hip forward. Sink into that back heel. And then one more time, bending the right knee. Sending the hips down the left leg up. Chest opens. Continue to hug those upper inner thighs together. And bringing the blocks down onto their sides again. Step the right foot back. And take the left foot forward. Blocks come up. And then lifting the left hip up and back, lengthening out the left leg. So we hug the left hip back. We send the right hip forward, upper inner thighs squeezing together. Sending the hips back and the crown of the head forward. So trying to find that tabletop position through the spine. Thinking that someone is gently tugging on the bottom of your spine, pulling it back towards the mat behind you. And somebody is gently tugging on the top of the spine, gently pulling the head towards the head of the mat. Be a nice, slow but strong breath. And then bending the left knee, coming down into the hips. Press that right thigh up towards the ceiling as you open the chest. Pull the shoulders in towards the spine and down the back. And lifting the hips up again, lengthening out the left leg, pulling the tail towards the back of the mat, reaching the crown of the head towards the head of the mat. Sink into the right heel, right foot. Rebending the left knee, sinking down into the hips, keeping your right leg nice and strong. Really press the thigh towards the ceiling, and then open the chest as the hips come down and forward. And one more time, we lift hips up, lengthening the left leg out. Sink into the right foot, pull the left hip back, send the whole pelvis back, lengthening your spine away from the hips. One more time, bending the left knee, pressing the right thigh up, the hips sink down, the heart opens. And turning the blocks onto their side. Set them forward at the top of the mat, so a little out in front of your shoulders. Send that left foot back, bring the knees down, the hips stack on top of the knees, and then the chest drops down with the height and under the hands. So the hips are up, the head and the heart fall down, and the hands are lifted. Pressing into your hands, roll up. And as you come forward, you're just going to bring that right knee forward and then kind of cross the right leg in front of you and sink down into your right hip. Extending the right foot out to the left side of your mat and the left leg back. And then you're going to take that left hip and think of folding it into your right thigh. Rotating yourself around. And you can stay upright here on the blocks. You can move those blocks off to the side and come onto the hands. You can bring the elbows onto the blocks. You can bring the elbows onto the mat. Finding whatever works for you. But what you want to keep happening is to have the left rib cage and hip folding down, really twisting the left hip down towards the right inner thigh, rotating the rib cage around to the right, and keep the legs strong and the feet flexed. So we don't want to relax into this. I'm going to stay really active. Nice deep slow breaths here into your belly and into your low back, and you're going to be able to feel how the breath on your inhale kind of challenges your twist, and then it lets you twist a little deeper on the exhale, and that's a wonderful way to kind of massage your internal organs. And pressing into your hands, come all the way up if you are down on the elbows. And we're just going to drop your left hip down so we open up into a straddle. So you're kind of facing kitty corner, the back of your mat. And then just fold forward into that straddle. Let everything relax completely. We'll let the feet relax, the head drop down. So we're really kind of curling into our spine here. Letting the weight of the head pull you a little deeper. Rolling up. Bring that right leg to match the left at the back of the mat. And then drop into a forward fold here. Really tucking the chin, looking for your belly button. So we're stretching the spine open, really focusing on getting the chin towards the chest and the head, weighing you down towards the knees. Rolling up. Take the hands around behind you with your fingertips pointing to the back of the mat. And then bend the knees, feet to the floor. Press into your hips and lift the chest and the pelvis up. Think about pulling your arm bones away from each other. So you feel like you're really widening through the arms, and at the same time, squeeze your shoulder blades together. And then set the hips down. And we're going to just rotate to the left, taking the left leg out. So we're going back into that twisted position. So my left leg goes straight out to the side and my right leg comes back, and I just keep rotating myself around. Okay, so we're back in that twisted triangle position. Both feet are flexed, and my focus is folding the right hip down into the left thigh. And my hands can be on blocks or on the mat, or I can be down on elbows on blocks or on the mat. We're focusing on rotating the right rib cage down, the right hip down, the left rib cage up. Feet are flexed and legs are active. So the whole pose is very active. Slowing the breath down, nice big breaths into your belly and your low back to help massage those internal organs. But use that exhale, see if you can deepen the twist a little bit more. Pressing into your hands to come up. Rotating to the right again. So we come into that straddle position. And then same thing, just dropping down center, letting the head be heavy. Pressing into your hands, rolling up. You're gonna bring the left foot to meet the right at the back of the mat. Again, we are just kind of curling the forehead towards the belly. So really looking for the belly button and then letting the weight of the head pull us down here. Legs are relaxed. And then rolling yourself up just a little bit. You're going to take your left hand across the right leg and start to walk the hand down the leg as far as it'll go. Now you can also use a strap for this because what we're looking for is wherever the hand lies, we don't want to have this rounded position that you see me in right now. We want to start to lift the chest up and press the belly button towards the knees, the chest kind of past the right foot to the outside of the right leg. And I like to take my right hand into the hip crease and kind of push down to give me a little bit more rotation. So you might be here doing this, okay? Wherever you're finding that nice hold with the left hand. You can also take the hand down onto the mat and push. And I feel like the leg really gives you a nice grounding through the thigh bone so you can lift and grow out of that. And take the left ear a little more towards the left shoulder than you think it needs to be so that you're not kind of cranking the head upright, finding a nice long spine. So see if you can use the breath again to inhale, find length through the spine, exhale, deepen your twist. Gently release, come on back center. Just sit upright for a moment. Turn the palms up in your lap, let the shoulders drop down. And we're gonna swap sides. So tipping forwards again, taking the right arm across the left leg, walking it down as far as you can, left hand into that left thigh or on the mat, and then start to press down into the thigh, pull up on the right hand to rotate the chest around. And we're not symmetrical beings, so you might find that this side is vastly different from the other. And again, we start to use the breath. So we inhale, find more length through the spine. Exhale, twist more deeply. And gently release. Come on back center. Turn the palms up. Relax the shoulders down. Really expanding on your inhale here. Think about spreading the ribs, the belly, and the low back like a barrel, like you're trying to blow up a barrel. And see if you can find a little more height with the exhale. Taking the hands once again behind you. Fingers point away. Bend the knees, feet to the floor. Press into those feet, lift the hips, lift the heart. Think about squeezing your shoulder blades together, but pulling your arm bones apart. Lowering the hips down. You're going to want to grab a block. And you're going to take this block behind you, just below the shoulder blades, so that as you come back onto it, if you were to flap your arms like a chicken, the bottom points of your shoulder blades would just kind of nudge the block. And then take the arms out and the head back. Now, if dropping the head all the way back is a little too much, you've got another block that you can put under your head, or you can always take a blanket or a pillow. And then if it feels good, you can send those legs down the mat into supported fish. To come out of this, you're going to bring the elbows next to you. I like to grab the side of my hips and then slowly pull my chin to my chest. Bring those elbows in a little bit more so I can take more support, and then pull the belly in towards the low back so that I'm really kind of coming into a crunch. Hands come in underneath for support. Pressing up. Taking the block and whatever else you've got on your mat all away. And then we'll come down right back, flat on the back for Shavasana. Arms drop out to the side, palms turned up. Take the legs about as wide as your mat. And as you get settled down into the mat, take a couple deep breaths in through your nose, out through the mouth. Let everything go. Begin to deepen your breath. To come out of this today, we're gonna do a little twist. So bending one knee, foot to the floor, then the other knee, foot to the floor. Lift the hips and just move them over to the right a little bit and send the left leg down the mat one more time. Right knee comes on top of the right foot comes on top of the left knee, and then spiral the low body over to the left. Take a deep breath in. With an exhale, come on back center. Bending the left knee. Lift the hips up, swing the hips to the left. Extend the right leg down. Left foot on top of the right knee, and then rolling the low body to the right. Taking a deep breath. As you exhale, come on back center. Bending the right knee. Lifting the hips up. Hug the knees into your chest. Rolling over onto your right side. Pressing up. Having a seat. Closing your eyes. Taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And again. One more. Beautiful. Lovely job today. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.